Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I've got some Average Joe's action coming your way to help you say goodbye to your working week and say hello to all the sun, fun and frolics coming your way this weekend. It's going to be a ladder match and it's going to take place on Winter's Duel. And if you're wondering why I have to say it like that, it's because at least 70% of my audience is going to be visibly upset by the fact that I'm casting a second match on this map. Personally, I like it. I refuse to accept that just because 95% of the games that are played on this map are complete garbage, that means it's not worth showcasing, because every now and again you get a little gem, and I hope you'll agree this might be one of those. But anyway, that's enough from me. You guys are ready, I'm ready, the players are sure as hell ready, so let's head on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. So taking a look at the two players over here in the red corner at the western edge of the map, it's Skwibble. He's going Seraphim. He's running 1107 in rankings. That's the 1v1 ladder ranking, remember. But in global, at the time of this cast, he was 1357, so that puts him firmly in Average Joe territory. And his opponent over here at the eastern edge in the blue corner, it's JeanLu. I don't know whether that's a Trekkie reference or just a coincidence, but either way, salute to you, sir. Anyway, he's going Cybrin. And you can see he's a little bit higher on the 1v1 at 1361, and in the global also at the time of this cast he's actually over the tipping point for Average Joe territory. He's at 1609 in the global rankings, but of course Average Joe's, we take the average, the mean between these two players, and that brings it to just below 1500. So it's just about an Average Joe's. It's the upper end of Average Joe's, and it's a ladder match as well, so you can bet they mean business. Let's take a look at how they've been going. Anyway, they've both been opening first land straight off the cuff, and second land as well queued up there for JeanLu. We're still waiting to hear what Skwibble has to say on the second factory side of things. It's going to be another land factory as well, so neither of these guys going super early air. We have got a little hit squad forming and coming down the middle, however, for JeanLu. Two Mantis and a Mole tearing away up the center of the map there. They're going to run headfirst into a couple of Thams. They're going to want to snag this engineer if they can. You can see them thinking about cutting right there, ducking around to get a little bit of micro on, but I think he might get lucky. Not in time to stop that mechs going online, but certainly in time to stop that engineer doing anything else useful with his day. And actually manages to take out one of the Thams as well. Finally, though, reinforcing Tham turns up and finishes it off. So a little bit of a hampering there from JeanLu. And Skwibble not getting the cloak online on that Selen. No problems for JeanLu, just walking forward with his ACU. A couple of shots, bam, bam, bam. And that out of commission. And what was Skwibble doing up there at the front? Looked like he was just having a coffee break. Can't afford to be doing so little with the ACU, but that looks like a very nice early energy storage. So Skwibble looking to use overcharge, looking to, well, either use overcharge actually or potentially save up power for an upgrade. We'll have to keep an eye on what he's planning to do with that. He's formed the wall sections first. I was actually having a chat with Washi the other day for the point defense template. He believes it's a good idea to do the wall sections first. I always think it's a good idea to throw the point defense in first. It'll give you cover for your engineers while you get the wall sections up. But I suppose it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It doesn't really make a colossal amount of difference. But we've got a Medusa up front there from JeanLu, bombarding that forward mechs there from Skwibble right on the top of that cliff face. That's not going to be something Squibble's going to be able to save, I don't think. And at the moment, Skwibble going for an upgrade as well on his comms, so he's looking significantly behind JeanLu in the land race. You can see JeanLu already with 4 land factories in place, a 5th very nearly finished, and an air factory queued up, and that compares to just the 2 operational land factories, and the 3rd now finally on the way there for Skwibble. But Skwibble does have the gun upgrade, I believe. That looks like the right arm, memory serves. That is the Chronoton accelerator. Of course, we'll see a dramatic increase in the rate of fire on that main cannon. That's going to double the damage output on that ACU. So that will counter the spam that's coming up the middle nicely from JeanLu. and also has the added bonus, of course, of getting a lot of extra veterancy on that commander quicker. The Seraphim commander, of course, is one of the ultimate commanders on the field in terms of upgradability, in terms of turning it into a battle com. It is absolutely brutal when fully upgraded. 35,000 something hit points, maybe more, can't remember off the top of my head. But outrageous regen with that nano repair system. JeanLu's ACU is in the area. He needs to be careful though, because the amount of damage coming off Squibble's ACU will tear a hole in his tank in no time. Of course, not forgetting that Cybrin ACU is considerably weaker on the field. He's got a lot of backup though. Mantis swarming in now, and Skwibble not looking too phased. He's backing up towards this turret, so he's utilizing that defensive fire for all it's worth, which is nice to see. He's scored 10 kills, 11 kills already though, and climbing. Still don't think he's attained the first rank in veterancy though, not against all this T1. But JeanLu is going to back up anyway. And we have seen the factory count increase dramatically for Skwibble during that little battle. He's gone from 2 land factories to 4 land factories and an air factory during that. And that auto gun that we saw JeanLu get online earlier lasts no time at all. And both of these guys making good use of overcharge now. So observing the fact that the map is tiny, the fact that they're going to be using their ACU a lot. Both have energy storage in abundance in place. Once again, we're in a similar position to just a few moments ago. JeanLu pushing up with hordes of Mantis, and Skwibble just firing for all he's worth with that main cannon on that commander. Say main cannon, only cannon. But JeanLu needs to be careful. He doesn't want to feed this commander unnecessarily. If Skwibble decides to go full battle com, he's going to have a hard enough time as it is breaking through it. And JeanLu actually running from this commander now. Skwibble finding the time to overcharge the odd Mantis that's coming through, but he put an awful lot of rounds into JeanLu's back there, taking him down to around 4,000 HP. Skwibble not going to pursue too far. Happy to stay in this area for the moment, clean up these extra replicators hanging about in the middle. JeanLu wants to stem the tide of this commander onslaught by building some wall sections. Of course, you can't really keep a commander penned in. They can just reclaim those wall sections. There's not much you can do about it. Having said that, it doesn't look like he's going to need to. You get into range and just pop all the engineers before they finish building said wall sections, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So there's still a sizable gap there for Skwibble to be able to get through. And JeanLu's decided enough's enough. He needs something to counter this commander. He needs more HP, he needs more damage, he needs something on that com. That's what he's going to get. I wouldn't be surprised actually if he's going to counter it with the engineering suite T2. Start throwing down some Cerberus turrets and lock down this position. Few maps are more defensible than Winter's Duel. It's such a bottleneck coming through the middle here, and of course you've got these plateaus which are ideally situated to plonk a whole bunch of static D down. He's actually already plonking static D down further back with the help of T2 engineers, so he's made the transition to T2 tech there on that secondly most forward land factory. How are we looking on tech back here? So it matches the upgrade from Skwibble. Both these guys transitioning into T2 land at around about exactly the same time. An upgrade finishing on that commander. Let's take a look at what it was. It wasn't the T2 engineering suite, hardly surprising since we've seen the emergence of the T2 engineers. It was the microwave accelerator, so he's going to counter that damage from Skwibble with some extra damage of his own. Of course, drawback to that, doesn't add any HP into the tank, and that's the one thing he's short on going up against this commander. And another upgrade, this time on Skwibble, and he's going to be taking a little bit of Viper fire. Where exactly is that coming from? Right here in front of JeanLu's commander. We have got some Ilshivers turning up on the field for Skwibble. I'm wondering if he wants to get in here and knock out these Vipers so as to be allowed to upgrade in peace. You can see him taking the occasional missile there. those Vipers encouraged to back off slightly. JeanLu slowly building up a bank of Cerberus turrets at the back here. Give him somewhere safe to run to. Skwibble suddenly jumping to 17,400 HP. And that indeed is the T2 engineering suite. So it's beginning to look like a nasty little commander up there at the front for Skwibble. And we're still seeing the occasional bomber coming out of his side of the map as well. Bombs away right over the top of those Vipers. Takes out 2 of the Sky Slammers, but he's not going to get a second pass. There are also some interceptors hovering above JeanLu's commander. I've got to fight to stop myself from saying JeanLu. I'm pretty sure Sir Patrick doesn't play FA. I'm sure if he's aware of it though and how good it is, I'm sure he would. The man's got flair and style. But TMD's surely got to be the order of the day. You can see Skwibble trying to throw some together there. Engineer still assigned on repair duty to be helping, assisting the building. I think that would be a more efficient use of time and energy. He's got 1 TMD online and now 2, the second one being finished up. But of course those Vipers, incredibly dangerous. That whole splitting thing that the Cybrin missiles do, absolutely brutal. Makes them unstoppable if you haven't got some kind of shield protection. Skwibble trying to rebuild that PD at the front, but he needs to come up with something a little bit more inventive. We're just getting more and more Vipers stacking up back here, and you've got to feel like the table's beginning to turn, or the tide I should say is beginning to turn in JeanLu's favour, as the last of these static emplacements succumb to the Viper fire. It's the end of the TMD and the PD. So Skwibble decides to use his commander a little bit more, trying to effect some more damage on this horde of blue that's been building up over the last couple of minutes or so. Looks like we've got a little bit of a drop here from Skwibble. A Zooey drop landing right next to the radar there on the plateau. What are they going to decide to go for? It'd be great if they could move in and go after some land factories, but unfortunately a range of those Cerberus turrets just enough to cover that plateau and make life even more difficult for Skwibble. So cheeky inventive play from Skwibble, but not paying off at all. Loses all of those Zooeys for effectively 0 gain. And he's got to be thinking now, I've funneled all of this eco into my comm and I've got nothing to show for it. I've got no defenses left. There's a horde of blue units in front of me. What on earth is my next move? He's backing up his commander as a result. He's building lots of T1 power generators. He's also been working on Ioshivas, I think. That's the T2 mobile flak there for Seraphim. And JeanLu looking pretty unstoppable right now, and he's got, in any other game you'd think that there's not much to say between these two guys in terms of eco, but proportionally speaking, 29 mass or 21 mass as it jumps backwards and forwards, but it's a good significant increase. Excuse the little bit of interface fail there. It's a good significant advantage. 33 or more % mass coming into JeanLu's coffers than Squibble's. That is surely going to take its toll. Still those Vipers online, and Skwibble just needs to come forward. A nice couple of overcharges will take out at least 4 of those. He's coming in now with some more Ilshivas. actually wonder, nice overcharge there, taking out 2 of those Vipers. I wonder if he just pushed now, if he couldn't just kill JeanLu. He's only got about 4k in the tank, and he knows it. He's backing up as we speak, bringing in yet more ground troops to take the brunt of that. Doesn't want to risk getting gunned down. And 83 kills on Skwibble. What's that mean in terms of veterancy? That's a 4-star commander with basically 50 HP per tick, climbing back into that tank on regen. Excellent com-on-com action between these two guys. But still not a lot of ground being gained for Skwibble, or indeed any ground. JeanLu happy to camp here, and the longer this goes on, of course, the more he's sitting on prime land and depriving Skwibble of eco, especially with these Vipers as well sitting back here and now just bombarding the air factory. One TMD on the ridge doing its best to knock out those missiles. But Skwibble continuously having to come backwards and forwards with his comm. I really do think he should push though. If he pushed now, I'm sure he could take JeanLu down. Maybe needs to get a few more engagements with him to get him down onto back onto 4k or so before he really goes for it. There are a lot of units in the area though. He's playing it cautious. JeanLu coming in with his own comm again, taking a few HP off Skwibble. He's on around 13,000 HP as opposed to the 6,400, 6,500 there on JeanLu. No matter what Skwibble does, the troops continuously just getting replaced here. He doesn't seem to be able to get ahead. Comes forward, blaps a few with his main gun, overcharges a couple more, and has to retreat. And I think that was just his final rank of veterancy there. That is now a 5-star. Yes, it is. 5-star commander, 55 or 52 something HP. Yep. 52 HP a second, coming back onto that tank. Nice overcharge there from Skwibble. Nabs a couple of the Vipers that are causing him so much difficulty here. Trouble is, there's a lot of Cerberus turrets moving forward. A little bit of a PD creep coming here from JeanLu with his engineers. See another one being built here, and that's really taking its toll on Skwibble. A lot of interceptors hovering over the top as well. Are we seeing any air-to-ground units coming in? No, we're not at the moment. Down to 7,300 HP there on Skwibble. Still ahead of JeanLu, but not by much. JeanLu needing to keep Skwibble away, wants to get more of these Cerberus turrets in place. Increase the amount of damage, but Skwibble goes into the red. 4,000 HP and falling. JeanLu also into the red, 2,300 HP. These guys have to be really careful now not to gift the victory to their opponent. Skwibble making his way back onto that top plateau, and that has allowed JeanLu just enough time to get that second forward Cerberus turret in place. And now he's working on the third. That's going to make life ever so much more difficult for Skwibble. Props to the name Skwibble, by the way. Huge fan. No particular reference or reason, I just like the way it sounds. Mantis coming in there to assist that engineer, helping with the actual construction of the turret though. Focusing on repair for the moment. That Skwibble with his only defensive tool now, his commander, having to sit back here and having to find some way to secure his border so he can recuperate. Trying to throw together some point defense. Trouble is, there's a Viper back here that's just casually blapping away at the commander. So just about kind of counteracting the regen. Has changed target now though, and going for that mass extractor. And that's mass. Squibble definitely cannot afford to lose. 25 mass to 21. Let's take a look at the reclaim out of these guys. Who's been doing better? So snifter under 5k for JeanLu, and Squibble just over 5,700. So Squibble doing a little bit better with the reclaim, but it's hardly surprising. A lot of the combat in this game has been on this edge of the map. It's close to his base. That's easier to get engineers to. And now there is a shield in place, a place for JeanLu to retreat to with his comm if stuff gets too hairy. That is only bad news for Squibble, but a nice overcharge there. Takes out 2 of those harassing Vipers, and he's going to withdraw once again. Very cagey, sketchy play here from both these guys, but especially Squibble. He's right on the crux of defeat here. He knows it. I don't know what he's going to be able to do to get out of this predicament. Certainly a tough ask. JeanLu upgrading that shield. Needs to get a few extra HP on there. Jumps that shield HP to 7k with that upgrade. And now JeanLu prepares to get settled in. He's setting up a nice defensive position here. Cerberus turret online. Zappers being placed, and not before time as well, because there are a couple of mobile missile launchers, 3 in fact, up top from Squibble, trying to beat JeanLu at his own game. But major power fail here, and that comes from another upgrade that's going on Squibble. Huge amount of reclaim coming in from somewhere at the same time. See what it is he's reclaiming. He's actually taken out those factories at the back, and he's reclaimed them to get stuff on his comm. That's interesting. That was actually his T2 factory as well, so no more Ilshivas or Ioshivas or mobile missile launchers, anything like that coming out from Squibble for the foreseeable future. That is a huge gamble, but he obviously knows that whatever he's been doing, it hasn't been working for him at the moment, so he needs to change things up. What's he gone for? 30,000 HP on the tank. That is the nano repair system. And look at the backpack on that son of a... That is a beast, a walking death machine. The question is it enough to break this position? There are now lots of Cerberus turrets in this area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 online. A 5th being placed. 2 more queued up after that. That's an awful lot of fire. I know Cerberus turrets obviously have been nerfed recently, but still, that is an awful lot of fire. Hoplites out front from JeanLu, not standing a great deal of chance against that commander. Overcharges going out all over the place, popping groups of units. Nice work there from Squibble. He's taking an awful lot of turret fire. JeanLu safely under the shield for the moment. Squibble wanting to put some fire to try and break the shield. If he can break the shield down, he can take it out, and he might be able to start putting some fire on some Cerberus types, but he's already down to 50% and falling. Needs to be careful, doesn't want to give away too much here. Of course, he will be able to regen quickly, but one mistake won't leave him any room to maneuver. He's trying to dance left and right to avoid some of this fire. He goes into the red at 7k HP and falling, still taking an awful lot of fire, down to 4,000 hit points and falling. He needs to retreat now. 3,000, still taking Cerberus fire, 2,500, and just strays out of range. That is what you call cutting it frickin' close, my friend. And he's instantly upgrading. He's going straight for T3. That's got to be hurting the power somewhat. Actually, no. So, interesting play here from Squibble. He has enough eco to get to T3, and I think he's going to get there ahead of JeanLu. He doesn't seem to be upgrading anything. right now. That T3 factory, 65% complete. That could be really interesting, the emergence of some Seraphim T3 units onto the field, coupled with that outrageous commander. You can see that 110 hit points a second flying back onto that tank. He comes forward again, but I don't advise it, son, not in your current condition. What you need is bed rest and apple juice. He goes back into the red. 7,600. You see him dancing in and out of the red there. His tank just about keeps up with the damage coming in. But look how nasty this little fire base is becoming from JeanLu. Once again straying into fire. His best bet is really to get back and stay back, but we have T3 in place now for Skwibble, and he's starting to produce T3 units. What's he going for? Is that Suthanus? No, it's a shield gen. Can't even pronounce that. Athena. But a little attack coming here from JeanLu. He's thinking maybe he can cause some damage maybe to the base, some damage to the resourcing options in there, slow up Skwibble a little bit, try and whittle down what he's got in here and leave him just his commander. If he can take out his power, he'll get rid of the overcharge. That will be a portion of the battle. But all this build capacity around this T3 factory is getting murdered, but an Otham turns up at exactly the right time to start slaughtering all of the Mantis. It's a real shame for Skwibble that he wasn't able to keep any of those engineers. But that is nice work from Skwibble nonetheless. Had that attack come just a little earlier, that could have prevented that T3 factory from being completed quite so quickly. Vipers move forward, going straight after that T3 factory. He needs to kill off those Vipers ASAP. He has got that siege tank in the area. He's got to worry about those hoplites first. They're what's going to be the units that are going to be able to cause damage to the siege tank. He's got to take those out and then worry about the Vipers. A second Otham enters the battle, and now they can start advancing. 30 kills on that first Otham. Quite curious to see where that gets you. That is a 4-starred Otham. 9 HP a second coming back on that guy. But Skwibble doesn't want to lose that factory, down to 5,000 hit points. But those Vipers forced to back up slightly. It's down into the red, but it is okay for the moment. Forward comes Skwibble. Those Othams now start to take Cerberus turret fire from the fire base here that JeanLu's been working on for the last 10 minutes or so, and that 32 killed Otham bites the dust. And once again, I don't think Squibble's got enough to break that shield. There's just too much damage coming off that PD. He's got to back up. He's tanking it like a boss. 9k HP and falling, still taking an awful lot of fire. Those new Cerberus turrets, of course, had the damage reduced back to the sort of output they were putting out at GPG days, but way more accurate now that they've been changed from a beam to a pulse. So skirting backwards and forwards, significantly less effective now. Virtually no fire missing on those. That is a nightmare in this situation for Skwibble. Micro isn't going to be able to get him out of this one. He's trying to spam some TMD together to try and get a handle on this Viper situation that's been pestering for the best part of 20 to 25 minutes in this game. And finally we have another Athena, a mobile shield gen on the field there for Skwibble. And that could be the way into this. If he can keep that surrounding his commander, keep the damage off the commander, he might get in there long enough to take the shield down. Then he can start blapping away on those turrets. The trouble is there's so much fire coming off that fire base. Shields just don't last very long. He could do with a few more of those. He's producing the odd Iosheva as well. But a wave of bombers trailing in behind these interceptors. What are they going for? There is a T2 power generator at the back. That would be a nice place to go. But I think they're going for the power storage. There it goes. So I guess that's overcharge out of commission for the moment. Yes, it is. Squibble's going to want to get another one of those very quickly indeed. Overcharge having been so vital in this. 180 kills on that comm so far. Very nice work indeed. Skwibble trying to spam together TMD in different places, but no sooner has he placed one, a horde of Vipers descend upon him, and that TMD gets properly taken out. Skwibble rebuilding that energy storage. Still operating at T2 at the back here, but 40% done there on the upgrade to T3, so is that going to be the final nail in the coffin there for Skwibble when JeanLu starts turning up with bricks? Skwibble giving up 10 mass per tick in eco right now. You've got to feel that is unsustainable, and you've got to be very impressed with Skwibble. Look at what he's done with no base whatsoever. Basically whoring out that Seraphim ACU for all it's worth. ACU pilot should get some kind of frickin' medal for this. But no sooner does he advance to try and deal with those Vipers, they back up well into friendly territory, forcing Skwibble to come forward and eat Cerberus turret fire. Nice overcharge. Surely takes down at least 4 of those Vipers. That will relieve the pressure a little bit, but this could be a game changer. Suthanus finally emerging on field for Skwibble. He's going to range this base with mobile artillery T3 style. Finally, that factory completes there, and it's loyalists straight off the bat. Interesting choice. There's virtually no T3 down here. There are no TAC missiles coming in or anything like that. I would have thought he would have wanted to go straight for bricks. He needs to be airdropping units up here or something whilst keeping Skwibble busy with an attack. He needs to take out that T2 power gen for a start, that hydrocarbon. That would cause Skwibble major issues, but 2 Suthanus in place now. And what's that doing to the shield? Not too bad as yet. JeanLu has his comm on assist, helping to recharge the shield. He's actually, no, he's upgrading that shield, excuse me, to try and counteract the fire. Does he have the eco to do it? He's bottled on mass. Forward come the Othams. Snags some stray blue units wandering around in territory that they shouldn't be. But that shield gen probably not going to get upgraded in time, I shouldn't think. And JeanLu needs to be so careful. He's got a lot of Cerberus turrets, admittedly, but with that ranged advantage that's coming in, I'm surprised he hasn't tried to get some artillery on the field himself. I know he's been incredibly concerned by this commander. He's wanted to make sure that it can't just come steaming in and annihilate JeanLu's comm. But it's so atypical to see T2 artillery being placed up here on the ridge. Look at the amount of damage just one of them might have been able to achieve. 38 minutes gone in this game, and winter duels on average rarely go this long, it has to be said. or rarely get played in this kind of style. It's nice to see Skwibble taking this tack with the battle comps. Usually, more often than not, a turtle fest. That's why I secretly like it, because I love turtling. Not that I'm any good at it, but I enjoy watching it as much as playing it. Forward comes one very ambitious brick. Going to start wailing away on that forward Otham. It's well out of its range, but a single overcharge from Skwibble, and he says, "Nah, get out of my house." I'm not exaggerating, that's exactly how he said it, but that shield is about to collapse, and the upgrade just 73% done. This might do it with this shell. Otham coming forward to smack down some of those Vipers, and suddenly there are Suthinus shells raining down on that firebase. The shield is taken out, and now all of these Cerberus turrets are vulnerable to T3 mobile artillery fire, and there's nothing JeanLu can do about it. He's got to back up, and if he loses this, it's going to be a horrible situation. He's been building trebuchets, but that, my friend, is too late. That forward fire base is kaput. And that huge mass advantage you've had for so long means nothing. He has made the transition to T2 air. 3 or 4 T1 bombers coming in there for a pass over the commander. He shrugs it off with no difficulty whatsoever. 4 Suthinus now on the field. They're advancing to a position where they can get a better firing solution. And forward comes Skwibble with 3 Othams, an Oshava, an Athena, and an outrageously dangerous commander. JeanLu moving out to try and overcharge some of these units, no doubt. But he needs to be so careful. There's a lot of damage tied up in here. He doesn't want to overextend, take unnecessary amounts of fire. Yes, he's got a couple of Cerberus turrets and a odd brick, but they won't last too long, especially not against this commander. Trebuchet on the ridge gets taken out. And what have we got here? Is that an Otham drop? Yes, it is. One single solitary Otham dropped into the back. A Corsair comes in and shoots down the transport. It lands on top of the Otham, but for the moment it's okay, and Skwibble needs to send that in to start wasting power. But just one Cerberus turret forward of the base turrets left now for JeanLu. I cannot believe the turnaround in this game. 42 minutes gone, and this is a completely different game to that we were watching just 5 minutes ago, and for all of the minutes before that, pretty much. And JeanLu looking a little bit impotent there with 11k HP on the comm and a whole lot of no ideas. He has managed to deal with that Otham. That's a slight mistake from Skwibble not to have made use of that. That Corsair probably got the kill. You can see the 1 kill on him there. And a forward T2 power generator definitely be a key target. And sniper bots coming into play as well. And primarying JeanLu's commander, it would seem. Skwibble coming forward with the ACU overcharge, takes out the forward brick. JeanLu overextending. Is this just the I've been beaten and I know it run? Because if it's not very sensible. He goes down into the red, taking huge amounts of damage. HP falling off the tank, and boom! Very, very nicely played from Skwibble. And it's quite a decent little victory. That is a 250 point deficit in terms of global ranking that Skwibble was giving up there to JeanLu, and he really made that comeback not look easy, but it was entertaining to watch, certainly. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, anyway, you know from me, more to come in the future, but in the meantime, as always, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.